Oh, right. Hello! Sorry, I forgot I started the live. Hi. Keeping it real, cooking with Lisa. Here we go. Forgot the camera was on. Oh, that's funny. Oh, so welcome. If it's your first time here, I'm Lisa Buskey. Thank you for joining me for Keeping It Real, Cooking with Lisa. And today is day 5 in 12 days of desserts and hope for Heidi Allen. And all of the recipes in our lives are coming from the Heidi Allen Cookbook. And this was a fundraiser when my sister first disappeared back in April of 1994. Um, so the recipes were all submitted by people in the area or connected to somebody in our area. And today's recipes, for those that are checking the cookbook, because I know some of you are, I had somebody say, "What page was that recipe on?" after the first one. So I'm trying to make sure I tell you. Um, Mama's chocolate cake and the buttercream filling are on page 51 in the cookbook. Okay, let me grab an apron. Because I'm still in my school clothes, so we'll put an apron on. So, and if you caught today's blog, and if you didn't, the blog URL is in the show notes, the comment, and the information on this live. But so, are you ready? I put the recipe in, shared a little bit about Heidi, family, who knows. All right, so I have my Epicure steamer. I'm going to be using the round steamer today. The directions say put oleo, cocoa, shortening, and water in saucepan and bring to a boil. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use my round steamer, okay, and I am going to put my 2 sticks of butter / oleo in the steamer. Okay, 1. So 2. Okay, 2 sticks of butter, 4 tablespoons of cocoa, which I already measured out in my 1 cup prep bowl. All right. All right. The 1/4 cup of shortening. These 1 cup prep bowls, I'm telling you, when you're trying to cook and you just want to cook, they make it so easy because I can just have everything pre-measured and ready to go. That was a little greasy. I'll put there. And water. And it says in a saucepan. We are not going to do a saucepan. We are doing it in the round steamer. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in for 3 minutes to start. All right. So while that's in there, when it comes out, so it says to add the baking soda to the buttermilk. The recipe calls for fresh buttermilk, but I don't have fresh buttermilk. So this is what we get. You need a teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to beat that into the buttermilk. And then we're going to add the eggs. 2 eggs already beaten to the buttermilk. And the vanilla. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this out and give it a stir. It's It smells chocolatey, I gotta tell you. All right, so we want to bring this to a boil, and then we're going to add the flour and the sugar. It's not quite boiling. Our butter is still there, but it's only been in a minute. A minute and 40 seconds. All right. So do another 2 minutes. All right, so that's in there. So what's everybody up to? Well, we're waiting. We got 2 minutes. So I don't even know what today's memory was or what I shared on the blog because I do them on the weekend for the week. That's the only way that, 12 days of baking. Every weekday for 12 days, 12 weekdays, I'm baking a dessert. Everybody at school is loving it, by the way. My family's enjoying it, especially the ones that are too big because I take them to school. And the 7-layer cookies we did yesterday were a hit, to say the least. But so good, enjoying it. And today, as I was driving to school, I went by in the New Haven Fire Barn. That was the Heidi Allen Command Center. That's where everybody gathered, law enforcement, the family, the media, the volunteers, the community. That was the command center. There's no other words. It was the command center. That's where everybody gathered. And so I drove by today and, well, not today, but a while back, the fire department got a new, marquee sign, the digital one, and it says, New Haven Fire Department. They can put up notices and upcoming events and that kind of stuff. And the first day I saw it, when I drove by, the clock read 7:42. And as you know, all the blogs are airing at 7:42 because that's the last time, April 3rd, 1994, at 7:42 a.m. That's when the last time we knew where Heidi was. So that 7:42 always makes me think of my sister. And so the first time I saw that sign, it said 7:42 when I was going by. And that just, I don't know, it just made my heart so happy. And, oh, this is perfect. All right. Just got to get it to that boil. It's almost there. And so every time I drive by and I see the fire barn sign that says 7:42, I say an extra prayer for my sister. And I just say, all right, Lord, 7:42. You know where Heidi is. Bring her home. And, and so I did that for a few days and almost for a week straight. Every time I went by, it was 7:42 when I went by the fire department. And I'm like, all right, I need to tell them what a blessing it is. The first time I just sobbed. Like, there's the fire barn. It took me right back to the command center, back to April 3rd, 1994. And I was there. And that 7:42, just being on the marquee at the fire department, that's where it took me. And, so I said a prayer and I'm like, I want the fire department to know that their new sign is more than just a sign. Yes, it's giving us notices of upcoming craft shows, upcoming events, weather warnings, don't burn your trash in May, whatever, I'm sure it'll be on there. Don't have fires, that kind of stuff. But that 7:42 being in big bold letters on the marquee was nice. It was so now every time I go by, I look, is it 7:42? So I can say that extra prayer. I need to wait for a clock to say 7:42 to say that extra prayer. But I honestly, whenever I see 7:42, I say an extra prayer for my sister. Not just on 7:42, April 3rd, 7:42, no matter what, whether it's morning, evening, whatever it might be. And that's just something little that I do. And so I sent the fire department a note and just said, I just want you to know that we're boiling. I didn't tell them we were boiling, but just letting them know the chocolate's boiling. And I said, I just want you to know that, your new marquee is appreciated. It's beautiful. And I just wanted you to know. So I'm adding 2 cups of flour. which I had pre-measured in my 1 cup prep bowls. So I, just sent him a note, and I just said, I just want you to know that, I've noticed your sign. I appreciate your sign. And I didn't expect him to respond or anything, but when you notice people are doing, good things, we really need to get better in the world about focusing on the good and the great things people are doing. I think in our world today, we were talking about this today at lunch, or maybe it was yesterday, about how everybody's so negative or focuses on the negative instead of all of the positives. There's so much good stuff. We have one of our staff. I consider her a part of our family. She's with us. She fills in subs for another teacher. But I consider her a part of our family because she's there often. And we were talking about oldies, like watching The Facts of Life and watching all those old shows. And I was telling her about, that I was watching Green Acres last night. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love Green Acres. She's in all these fancy dresses and they're out and this house is falling down and all this. And just good, clean fun, right? We were talking about good, clean humor. So I don't know. Reach out and tell people when something good is happening and you notice that they've done something good. Because you know what? People want to know. The world doesn't have to be so negative. All right, so here we go. So instead of cooking it on the stove and having to stir constantly, I heated it in my round steamer, and then I just added all the ingredients. So the recipe had said, do that and then have it in a separate bowl when you come back. I had got the bowl out, and I'm like, that's foolish. Why am I going to dirty a bowl when I can just do everything right in the steamer? And then you could cook it in a 13 by 9 pan or 2 round pans. So I'm going to use my Epicure round pans. And then the recipe says to grease and flour the pan. With Epicure silicone pans, you do not have to spray them, and it's not going to stick, which is amazing, right? So we're just going to kind of pour this as evenly as I can eyeball. All right, I need a corner spatula. There it is. All right, so we're just going to put the mix. Okay. And then I'm going to pop these in the oven. And it says they need to bake 350 degrees for 20 minutes or until done in the center. Okay. So I'll set that over here. So I'm going to grab my sheet pan. Ooh, I lost a liner. All right. And I'm just going to put them on my Epicure sheet pan because they are silicone and I don't want them to wiggle jiggle too much. Should have done it before I poured them, but So there's our chocolate cakes. I'm going to put these right warmed up. And while they're in here baking, all right. So while they're in the oven, what I want to do is I'm going to make the buttercream filling that we're going to put in. Hey, I got a thumbs up. I'm so excited. That's my first thumbs up while I'm live. Woohoo! I'm excited. Yeah, it doesn't take much, folks. I got a thumbs up. Whoop, whoop. That's exciting stuff. All right. So now we're going to make the buttercream filling. I have my egg white and my vanilla in here. We need a cup of sugar. We need 1 cup of warm milk. So I'm just going to pop this in the microwave for our warm milk. Half a cup of shortening. Now, the the shortening, I'm going to use my 1/4 cup scoop, and 2/4 cups will equal 1/2 cup. Now, this is why, kids that are watching, that's why you need to know your fractions. You don't need fractions for anything else other than baking and spending time in the kitchen. No, I'm just kidding. You need fractions for so many other things. But I'm just telling you, this is how I learned fractions, because I hated math. So my grandmother said, I can teach her fractions. And she did, because she brought me in the kitchen and I baked with her. And you have to be able to add fractions, multiply fractions if you want to bake. True, right? So figure out what works for your kids and you will succeed. And I apply that same logic to teaching. Okay. So we're just gonna kind of cream together my sugar, egg, and Crisco. I'm gonna pour in the warm milk. Alright, I'm gonna add the butter. This looks disgusting. Alright, I've never made this, and I'm not really sure I would do it again, because I was at first, I was quite impressed, but now I'm not so much. Alright, so let's put the butter in there. It called for margarine. Just so you know, I use real butter. So once again, me going rogue with the recipe. It says it's going to look like whipped cream. I need to beat it faster, and I can't do it in that speed. So let's pivot. It's important in life to be able to pivot. Okay? If you learn nothing else, learn to pivot. When life gets tough or squirrely, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Pivot. All right. There we go. Now I can get that heater going. Oh, I've even got smileys in a comment. I am like so excited. Oh my God. Now I'm trying to read it while I let Lexi's vlogs. Well, hello, Lexi's vlogs. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this live cooking. I may have screwed up this, because now that I'm reading the Buttercream Filling recipe, yeah, I screwed it up. Story of my life. Should have just made my grandmother's recipe. I don't screw that one up. That one's delicious, but I can fix this one. Oh, what? You love me, but I'm crazy? All right. I'm adding more sugar. My husband's in the other room cracking up. I'm adding more sugar. And it's kind of funny because the reason this is funny is there's talking to my brother-in-law probably 6 months ago now, and I screwed up the chocolate chip cookies. I added too much or something. Oh my gosh, it was such a train wreck. And you just let me forget it. Maybe I'll cross the whole cake now. That's good. So, yeah, so I shared my little 742 thing. I don't even know if I finished it. Most families that have lost someone, there's like something, a smell, a place, a time. You know, there's something that triggers that memory. And for me, it's that 742. Like that 742 on April 3rd actually is more upsetting to me than the whole entire day. Just because it's exactly 7:42 was her last transaction. That is the last minute where she was. And you just don't get over it. But you move on and you figure out how to do things. And, you know, I had one person tell me, you'll never get over it, but you learn to get through it. And some people say that doesn't make any sense. If you're getting through it, then you got over it, and it's contradictory, but it really isn't. Because you can get through something without getting over it. Just like anybody that's lost their mom or a dad, you know, that had a positive relationship, and even some people that haven't, they never fully recover. They're still your parents, right? Your mom and your dad is always your mom and your dad. I am enjoying the lives. I hope you are. I hope you're enjoying the vlogs. And you're getting some new recipes to add to your toolbox. Some are great holiday recipes. Others are just great recipes. One of the teachers at school said, "Oh my gosh, I brought in the 7-layer cookies that we made yesterday." And she said, "I bought all the ingredients to make these for Christmas, and I never got to it." So she goes, "I have to have one for breakfast." She goes, "I'm sorry, don't judge." And I said, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I think it was a compliment. You're choosing my dessert for breakfast. Yay!" If Pat's watching, her and I always kid each other because breakfast should always be first. Right? I drink so much creamer in my coffee. I have coffee in my creamer. Yum. Oh. All right. So I am going to have to wrap up our live. The cake has 11 minutes. My look at my buttercream frosting was a buttercream icing, or buttercream filling is now an icing because I screwed up the recipe. But it's going to be a filling and a recipe and a frosting because that's just the way we roll. We roll with it here. But thank you for joining me for 12 Days of Hope for Heidi Allen. And I hope you'll comment on the blog, share your favorite chocolate cake recipe or whatever. And thank you for watching. And remember, you can share this with your friends and family. And if you enjoy live cooking demos, head over to Facebook, Keeping It Real Cooking with Lisa. Join my Facebook group. And I do a live every Monday. Currently, as of today, December 7th, 2022, it's at 6 p.m. Eastern. But it's been Mondays since July of 2020. I've gone live on Mondays in my Facebook. It used to be a page, now it's a group, and it is private. So you just ask. And I would love to have you if you enjoy cooking or watching cooking videos. If you're looking for expertise, don't watch me because look, I'm a disaster. I am what they edit out of professional cooking shows, but we will have a ton of fun. So thanks for joining me, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Tomorrow we are making chocolate mint cookies. Yum. I cannot wait.